Hi, welcome to my kitchen, Karen's Crazy Kitchen. Well, today is a lazy Sunday and I had a sweet tooth. And I'm going to share with you a microwave fudge recipe today. And I only usually make it around Christmas time, but today I thought about it. It is my favorite fudge recipe and totally easy. My favorite kind of fudge, and there's so many different varieties, but my favorite kind of fudge is actually the old-fashioned fudge. And I actually like it when it's almost not cooked properly and it's a little bit crystally. And for some reason, this recipe is very similar to that. And so I've made it at Christmas time a lot because it makes a wonderful gift. So I am going to show you how I do that. And I am going to use my 2-quart batter bowl. This is a bowl that I call the Bachelor Bowl. Beer, cereal, that's really all they need. So I'm going to take my bowl, and I'm going to put it on my scale because I need 1 pound of confectioner's sugar. And you know, to me, confectioner's sugar is kind of a pain to measure, right? It gets all over the place. And measuring your ingredients by weight is always superior if you can, you know? And having our Paper Chef scale makes it all the difference. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my bowl on my scale, and I'm going to hit tare, and it's going to set it to 0. Now I can measure in 1 pound of confectioner's sugar. And I'm going to grab our bag opener here. This little tool has a blade on this side, and then it's a clip on this side. It also has a magnet. I just pulled it off of my oven shelf. So I'm going to take the blade and just open it like that. I got the seam there. And now my confectioner's sugar is open. I can take this, if I was doing chips or something, I would just clip it like this. But since it's confectioner's sugar, I want to use a Twix-It clip. And our Twix-It clips are terrific. These come in sets of 10. There's 2 large ones, 4 this size and 4 small ones. And anyway, this will keep it nice and tight. Now what I'm going to do is, I need to measure the pound. And here we go. 16 ounces. Oopsie, a little bit too much. So I'm going to grab my little measuring cup and pull some out. Put it back in. I don't know why I have a hard time talking when I'm doing something like this, but I do. You can talk amongst yourselves. Perfect. Okay. Now, my Twix-It clip, and I have 1 pound of confectioner's sugar for another use. Actually, what I even like to do is I'll take my kitchen shears and I cut off the excess. Maybe one of these days I'll be a big girl and I'll get a canister for that. All right. So now I have 1 pound of confectioner's sugar. I need to add 1/2 cup of cocoa, and I'm using our measuring cups. These come as a set. They're really great, and they kind of clip together, which is really nice. Keeps them together, nice and handy. And I'm going to mix this in. Oh, and I need to grab a tool. I'm going to use my mix and mash for this, and I'm just going to stir up my cocoa. Actually, I need to add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So let me grab our adjustable measuring spoon. I'm going to be using both sizes today. And I'm going to reach in and get a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. If you like, saltier chocolate, of course, add a little bit more. I use coarse kosher salt, and just stir this around. And now this is ready to go. What I like about my scale, I can turn it off, just turn it on, and I slip it right into my drawer like a little file. It's just nice and thin and real easy to store. All right, so now I'm going to take a stick of butter, 1/2 cup of butter, and I am just going to cut it into just 4 pieces. No big deal, just like that. I have even done the whole stick, but I'm going to do that. And all I do now is I am going to put this into my microwave for 3 minutes. While I'm doing that, I'm going to get the rest of my ingredients ready. And to do that, I need, it calls for a 1/4 cup of milk, but I'm going to use half and half. You can also use whipping cream if you just like it to even be a little bit thicker. So I'm using this is our petite measuring cup. This comes with the set of easy read measuring cups. So what's great about these is that you can read right from above. So I'm going to set that aside. The other thing I need to do is I need about half a cup of walnuts. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take my walnuts and I'm going to use my food chopper. If you're not familiar with our food chopper, what's great about this is like using 6 blades, all right? And I'm showing you how to take it apart to clean it. And you just put the little protector on it, and then you can use the collar, put the collar on, and you can chop in the little dish, which I'm going to do, or you could chop on your polyethylene cutting board. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of fill this. I know this holds about a good third, good half a cup, and so I'm just going to put that in here. And I don't want these to be fine. Every 7 hits is a revolution, so I don't have to make sure, I don't have to watch to make sure it's even, but so this is going to be a good addition to my fudge. And let's see how much time we've got. 1 minute 22 seconds here. And oh, I know, let's talk about the pan I'm going to use. This is our 8-inch square pan, metal pan. And I tell you what, you will not believe how things do not stick to our cookware. And I love this pan. I love it because you can make something in it, and then you've got the lid. If you're taking it somewhere, it protects it, or it keeps it fresh. Really, really nice. So all of our Tiffany blue metal pans are so nice. And things just don't stick to them. Here's my lid. Things just don't stick to them. All right, I'm going to tell you about our mix and mash. I love this thing. It's very sturdy. It's much more sturdier than it looks. And I use it for guacamole. I use it for gravy. I'll scramble eggs with it. It's great for your nonstick pans. But it's really effective, and it really does a great job. Even if I'm doing just like mashed potatoes for 2 people, I'll use this instead of pulling out the the potato masher. But anyway, that is so handy. All right, here we go. All right, so now this is what it looks like, and I'm just going to give this a good stir and just start stirring. And I'm going to add my milk or cream as I'm using, and just keep stirring that around. And it's coming together very nicely here. How easy that is. It's kind of dangerous. You have a sweet tooth, and it's like, oh, I'm going to get up and go to the kitchen. I don't have to go to the grocery store. All of these ingredients I normally have on hand. I've got to get this little corner down here. All right. Now I'm going to put this in the microwave for 1 more minute. Okay, so now we're going to take this. I'm going to grab one of my spatulas. Our polyethylene cutting boards are great because they have the silicone edges. They don't fall, they don't slip all over, which is really nice. The large one has a rounded edge that will hold 3/4 of a cup of liquid, which is really great. And the medium size, of course, is great for all the time. But this is a great board to have if you've got kids. I've heard, I don't have kids, but I understand that they don't always like to pull out the cutting board. But if you leave this on the counter, it's handy, and there's no reason why they shouldn't use it. These are our little paring knives, and these come in a set of 3. And these are really, really great, really handy to have. Little sharp tools. You can sharpen them, which is great over time if you need to. And once you use it a lot, you probably will need to. All right, I am going to use our double strength Madagascar bourbon vanilla. Now, we only carry this during the holidays, and I do stock up. I am really picky about vanilla. I personally feel that the Mexican vanilla isn't always dependable in terms of flavor. So it is expensive, but what's great too is that when the recipe calls for a teaspoon, you only need to use half a teaspoon. And so, because it is double strength. Now, but I learned the original Earth Day, I think it was 1970 or 1972, I forget what it is, that imitation vanilla has the same ingredients, has some of the same ingredients that tires do. So we don't use imitation vanilla. And you know, when I'm using all these great ingredients, you know, you don't want to cheapen them with junk. So you don't want to put junk in your body. Bourbon's good, right? All right, so now I've grabbed my classic scraper, and I'm going to give this just another quick stir. And it is just a tad bit lumpy. Maybe I should have sifted my confectioner's sugar, but you're not going to notice. If you're picky, you can do that. I'm not so picky. Now, the recipe calls for 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla, and I told you that this is double strength. So really, I only need 3/4 teaspoon, but I like vanilla, and I like this vanilla, so I am actually I'm using double the amount that I need. So I'm going to add that, and I'm going to add my walnuts and give it a good stir. Set that away. And there is my fudge. Now, I'm going to drop this into my pan. The hard part is waiting for it to cool. But I hope that you'll try this recipe, and I will share the graphic with you with all of the ingredients and the measurements, so if you didn't get a chance to write it down. And just let her cool. And, you know, cut it up into inch squares and maybe give some away because they will love it. So I hope you try this. Thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you in my kitchen again.